We continue our exploration of Neil deGrasse Tyson's Starry Messenger, imagining ourselves as aliens, contemplating some issues of human civilization from a cosmic perspective. What we often take for granted might seem illogical to aliens, and if they were to offer suggestions, you might find them challenging to accept. Aliens, assuming they come from highly advanced civilizations, probably differ from us, most notably in their greater rationality compared to our sensitivity. As humans, we're relatively emotional. Our time in the civilized world is too short. Perhaps our brains haven't evolved sufficiently. We particularly struggle with issues involving numbers. Consider a perplexing calculation. In the northeastern United States, where the environment is favorable and people live relatively spread out, many wild deer roam. They wander directly into residential areas and onto roads, posing a hazard for drivers. Every year, numerous traffic accidents occur due to collisions with deer, resulting in injuries, fatalities, and significant insurance costs. In 2016, 9 wildlife scientists proposed a cost-effective and stress-free solution. They suggested introducing a population of mountain lions, which naturally prey on deer. Through computer simulations, scientists estimated that this method could prevent 21,400 injuries, reduce 155 deaths, and save $2.1 billion over 30 years. Of course, you might immediately protest, stating that mountain lions don't just prey on deer. They also prey on humans. Scientists fully acknowledge this fact. However, consider that humans don't spend their entire days outdoors like deer do. Their model predicted that, within 30 years, 30 people would be killed by mountain lions. 30 less than 155. And that's not even considering the number of injuries saved and the significant amount of money. So scientists believe that introducing mountain lions is a good solution. I dare say, aliens would agree with this proposal. But most Earthlings probably wouldn't. No government would permit a plan involving releasing mountain lions to prey on humans. So why don't we choose the mountain lion solution? Think about it carefully. The only reason is emotion. We accept dying in car accidents. It's tragic but accepted. But being eaten by mountain lions? Emotionally, that's completely unacceptable. This is a clash between emotion and rationality. Such scenarios are commonplace today. Monsanto, a biotechnology company, developed a genetically modified corn variety resistant to the broad-spectrum herbicide glyphosate. Glyphosate is also a Monsanto product, capable of killing all weeds in fields except for the genetically modified corn. So Monsanto has both the spear and the shield. Farmers just need to plant their corn and use their glyphosate herbicide, and all is well. The only issue is that glyphosate leaves slight residues on the corn. A certain ice cream company used Monsanto's genetically modified corn syrup as a sweetener in their products, resulting in trace amounts of glyphosate being detected in the ice cream. How trace is it? 1 billionth, far below the standards in the United States and Europe. But people were outraged. People were already wary of genetically modified organisms, and Monsanto's reputation wasn't stellar. Now, your genetically modified corn plus your herbicide. That's just too wicked. Seeing the significant public reaction, the ice cream company decided to stop using Monsanto's genetically modified corn. Tyson heard about this incident and did some calculations. There's a Latin proverb, the dose makes the poison, sola dosis facit venenum. There's a scientific standard for talking about doses called the LD50, meaning the dose required to cause the death of 50% of the subjects per unit of body weight. Glyphosate's LD50 value is 5 grams per kilogram, while sugar's LD50 value is 30 grams per kilogram. And the sugar content in ice cream is much higher than glyphosate. So Tyson calculated that if you weigh 70 kilograms and consume 20 pints, equivalent to 9.5 liters, of ice cream, you have a 50% chance of dying from sugar poisoning. Yet to die from glyphosate poisoning, you'd have to consume 400 million pints, equivalent to 20 million times the former. So why worry about glyphosate when you should worry about sugar? Because sugar is perceived as friendly, while glyphosate sounds strange. It's just an emotional issue. Tyson loves doing these kinds of calculations and tweeting about them, so he often gets criticized. In 2019, a mass shooting occurred in a supermarket in Texas, with 46 people shot and 23 killed, stirring public outrage. Tyson fell into the trap of scientific reasoning again, saying that the number of deaths in such mass shootings actually accounts for only a small fraction of all gun deaths in the United States, so we shouldn't be overly alarmed. Then people objected, asking, "Don't you have an ounce of sympathy for the victims?" Moreover, Tyson has expressed similar views on the 9/11 attacks. The September 11th terrorist attacks killed nearly 3,000 Americans, the most significant event in the United States since World War II. What did Tyson say? He pointed out that 3,000 people isn't actually that many. The United States averages over 100 deaths per day from traffic accidents, surpassing 3,000 in a month. Yet the United States waged a war on terror for this event, costing $2 trillion. Aliens would likely consider this unworthy. Why spend so many resources, when you could use them to benefit your own people, saving far more lives? Of course, wars are always complex, with possible international or domestic political reasons. But whatever the case, you can't say it's for anything. You shouldn't say the war on terror is to protect American lives. But most Americans think differently from Tyson. They all support the war on terror. Emotions and rationality clash here. Death from a traffic accident is considered normal, while the fear of a terrorist attack is deemed unacceptable. You might say, well, humans have emotions. Do aliens not have emotions? That's a valid point. Emotions are also a need, deserving the same attention as human needs, for food and warmth. Sometimes, to satisfy emotional needs, we should sacrifice some material interests. But bear in mind, although relying on emotions and relying on rationality are symmetrical on a micro level, they follow vastly different developmental paths on a macro level. Emotion is subjective, keeping you stuck in place. Rationality is systematic, allowing you to accumulate knowledge and progress continuously. If you prioritize emotion in everything, you miss out on a significant benefit of rational thinking. The ability to systematically improve things. For example, one day, the accident rate of self-driving cars will be lower than that of human drivers. But self-driving technology won't be perfect. Currently, with human drivers, there are about 36,000 deaths from traffic accidents in the United States each year. If we switch entirely to self-driving cars, even if we're optimistic, there might still be thousands of deaths per year due to AI errors. Can you accept that? Emotionally, we're more inclined to accept human error. Accidents involving self-driving cars would entail a slew of social and legal troubles. But the most significant difference between AI driving and human driving is that each type of traffic accident only occurs once with AI. Because engineers analyze each accident and make systematic upgrades, so the same accidents won't happen again. Self-driving cars might initially cause many deaths, but systematic improvements will gradually reduce the mortality rate to nearly zero. That's the benefit of rationality. In fact, the aviation industry has always operated this way. Take the United States, for example. In the 1990s, over 1,000 people died in plane crashes. From 2001 to 2010, excluding the 9/11 attacks, the number of deaths from plane crashes halved. From 2010 to 2019, with a significant increase in passenger numbers, there hasn't been a single plane crash. Why? Because the National Transportation Safety Board of the United States meticulously analyzes the causes of every plane crash, regardless of size, improves aviation safety regulations accordingly, and prevents similar accidents from recurring. When humans first invented airplanes, dying in plane crashes was also a terrifying death, but those brave souls accepted it. Perhaps it was because wars needed airplanes, or perhaps the benefits of airplanes far outweighed the drawbacks. But in any case, if you choose to believe in rationality, you embark on a path of systematic improvement. The power of rational progress is exponential. Various technological development indicators since the industrialization of humanity, such as the number of papers and patents, transportation speed and range, energy usage, and so on, have all experienced exponential growth, much like computer processing power. Why? Because rationality has logical coherence, and things with logical coherence can be built layer by layer. Each generation builds upon the knowledge of the previous generation, and any problem fundamentally needs to be solved only once. The higher your level of development, the faster your progress. It's a positive feedback loop. Today's tech workers owe thanks to the knowledge of their predecessors, so why are today's young people unwilling to listen to their elders? Because the former is the rational inheritance and development, while the latter is the sentimental old stories. This section isn't meant to persuade you to abandon emotional life and become entirely rational, turning into robots. Emotion is a good thing. Life with emotions is interesting, and you should preserve it. But Tyson's point is that you should base your emotions on rationality. In other words, you should first understand the data and then decide which emotions to use. For example, many people now know that frequent barbecue consumption increases the risk of colorectal cancer, so some people dare not eat barbecue. Tyson loves barbecue and doesn't want colorectal cancer, but Tyson first did some research and calculations. First, we need to understand that not eating barbecue can still lead to colorectal cancer. Even if someone never eats barbecue, their lifetime probability of getting colorectal cancer is approximately 4.3%. How much does barbecue actually increase the risk of colorectal cancer? The findings of various studies differ, but Tyson's research found it roughly increases the risk by 15%. Note that, this 15% doesn't mean a sudden increase of 15 percentage points. It means raising the 4.3% by 15%, so the probability becomes 4.3% times 1 plus 15% equals 4.9%. It only increases by 0.6 percentage points. If you say, I don't want to increase this 0.6%. I'll quit barbecue, I understand. But if you say, compared to the joy of eating barbecue, this 0.6% is nothing, I also agree. That's rationality before emotion. The worst thing is to hear that a friend who loves barbecue got colorectal cancer and scare yourself into never eating barbecue again. Experience has proven that, if a person receives excellent scientific training, they can indeed make more rational choices. When I was studying physics, I used to attend the annual meetings of the American Physical Society every year. The conferences were held in different places each time, but they never happened in Las Vegas. If you think about it, that's a bit strange because Las Vegas has a plethora of hotels and is a hub for various large conferences. The rumor has it that Las Vegas doesn't welcome physicists. I initially thought it was just a joke until I read Tyson's book and realized it's true. In 1986, due to unforeseen circumstances, the American Physical Society changed the location of the conference to Las Vegas. There's a hotel in Las Vegas called the MGM Grand Marina, the largest in the country, with over 7,000 rooms, and it's also a large casino. That week, 4,000 physicists checked into this hotel. That's big business, right? As a result, during the week the American Physical Society held its meeting, it was the lowest revenue week of the year for MGM Grand. Because physicists don't gamble. We understand probabilities. We're here to discuss physics. We're not interested in gambling. Imagine if most people had the qualities of physicists, what would the world be like? Should we hand over the world to scientists? We'll discuss this further in our next lecture.
If you feel there is value in this, please like, subscribe to this channel, and leave your thoughts or suggestions in the comments section. Let's grow together and read more good books.